Hey, what's up, guys? So coming to you this morning, want to hit everybody with the the what's next on Terrence Bud Crawford, the undefeated WBO welterweight champion. Crawford just fought on April 20th on ESPN pay-per-view. He main evented against Amir Khan. He knocked Khan down early, hurt him pretty, looked like he was going to have him out, but Khan did a good job of holding on. Khan even somewhat got himself into the fight. He was landing decent counter punches, but Crawford was just pushing. And the shots that Khan was landing were just pitter-patter. It seemed like didn't seem to affect Crawford at all as he kept pushing forward. It looked like he was head-hunting for a little bit there, looking for that knockout, and I think that's why the fight went into the 6th round when it did. Crawford ended up getting the 6th round TKO, and Khan's corner felt like he couldn't continue after a low blow. So, he would have ended up knocking Khan out cold anyways, I think, eventually. And, just a good performance, but, could have been better, could have been a little bit more memorable, but I don't think that was Crawford's fault at all. But he's still, in my opinion, the #1 welterweight in the world. I don't think anybody can beat Crawford at 147. Errol Spence will probably have the best chance, and, but I think Crawford's still the best. So, the question, what's next for Terrence Bud Crawford? Well, you would want the #1 choice to be Errol Spence, but that's not going to happen. It's going to be a while before these two guys can come to terms. Sad to say, but it's true. And in a way, if Crawford had better opposition, I wouldn't even care, because Spence has not better opposition. If he had quality opposition that he could face in the meantime, I wouldn't even care. But he doesn't have the same quality opposition that Spence has. Spence has the option of clearing up this division, because there's a lot of PBC fighters at 147. So, I really don't think much of the guys in the top 5 are options for Bud, which is sad. But here are the options that I would take, or that I think are there for Crawford. So, we gotta take out Spence and Porter, because they're probably fighting each other in a unification bout in July or August. We gotta take out Thurman and Pacquiao, because they're going to be fighting each other most likely in July. So let's look at the possible options now besides them. I think the fight he needs to go for the most, really make the best effort, because it could lead to a Spence fight. If Al Haymon and Bob Arum learn how to put their egos to the side and work with each other, I think Danny Garcia next would be awesome. Danny just fought the same night. He got a big win over Adrian Granados. He's rolling. He's a big name. This is a guy that Crawford and Arum said they offered him, I think, $3-4 million to fight to fight Bud, and they turned it down. Offer him more. Amir Khan got $5 million, and he wasn't even close to being, as much of a threat as Danny is. I think this would be a huge fight for both guys. And I think the right amount of money would go a long way. Plus, these two guys start working out deals with each other. That's Al Haymon and Top Rank, Al Haymon and Top Rank and Bob Arum work together. That could lead to Spence and Crawford next year, possibly. So, it's about starting a new working relationship that would be good for both sides, and it would lead to the best in the world being decided at some point in the best division in boxing, mind you. So, I think that's the best option, the one he needs to go for the most. Now, what do I think could happen next? There's other options out there for Bud. I mean, they're not huge options, though, but I think a really good one, a smart one, is a Kell Brook fight. Kell Brook wants a big fight. He wants the big names. He's still enough of a big name to where he could, he could pose a threat. And then this is a measuring stick fight. Errol Spence stopped Brook in the 11th round a couple years back, to win the world title. And this could be, a way for Crawford to be like, hey, I did you one better. I stopped them earlier or whatever, I mean, it could be looked at that way. And, that's not a bad thing. Plus, Brook has a good name, and it's a fight that can be worked out. So, he doesn't have a lot of big options at 147, but this wouldn't be a bad one. You know, and I think he really needs to try to work with Al Haymon, Top Rank, and other promoters to get a fight happening, because Crawford just last year signed a long-term deal with Top Rank. He's going to be with Top Rank, but he needs those big fights, because looking at his resume, he doesn't have really that big signature win, that oh wow signature win, you know, on his resume. He's beaten a lot of good fighters, and he's had some nice wins, but he doesn't have that one standout win outside of maybe Yuriorkis Gamboa back in 2014, where it was like, oh yeah, I remember how he handled that guy that night. You know, he's been beating a lot of former champs, but guys that, you know, aren't top tier level fighters anymore, outside of like maybe Victor Postal at 140. You know, and it's causing people to doubt him, and it's sad, because Crawford truly is the best. Because the reason why I think he's the best, he doesn't just beat these guys, he destroys these guys. You know, and you know, I just think he's on another level, and it's sad. It's going to be sad if he falls out of his prime, not getting the fight with Spence or even with one of the other guys in the PBC, because there's so many good fights to be made at welterweight right now. So I'm really hoping, if he doesn't get Danny Garcia, he gets Kell Brook. You know, there's guys at the back of it, maybe Saddam Ali, you know, maybe he can call up somebody from 140, like a Jose Ramirez. I don't think that fight gets made, but, you know, I mean, you never know. I just hope he gets a decent enough opponent next to keep us interested, you know, and because he's on that level. But it's just sad, because I really like Terrence Crawford. I think he truly is 1B in terms of pound for pound right now. I can't even put him number 2 behind Lomachenko. I think he's like, Lomachenko's 1A, he's 1B. That's how close they are. And, you know, it's sad that he's not getting the opposition that he should be getting, but that's partially his promoter's fault. You know, Bob Arum talking so much shit and saying so many things about other people is not attracting other promotions and fighters to come and fight his guys. So, you know, somebody needs to put their ego down at some point and get the fuck in the ring and box. So that's it on the What's Next for Terrence Bud Crawford. True Boxing, been hit with the truth.